Today, we're taking a look at Henry Cavill's departure from his beloved character in The Witcher. For those of you that had joined the fandom way back when the story premiered, y'all especially get why we're gonna be missing this on-set enthusiast and the perfect Geralt. But with a hats off goodbye, let's look at why he'd finally chosen to hang his majestic white hair, and where we'll catch him next. Let's get into it. First up, the hints in past interviews. Honestly, we don't need to Scooby-Doo this too much, but just if anyone's unaware, Cavill has long voiced his unease with The Witcher, even though for Henry, the opportunity to play Geralt of Rivia was a lifelong dream come true. He'd said in a 2019 interview that in his spare time, he really enjoyed playing these kinds of games and reading these kinds of books, so it wasn't a job to him. It was more like a once-in-a-lifetime chance to live out his childhood and adult fantasies. And that, our dear friends, is how you make a nerd's heart break. Cause this, more than anything else, has made the recent announcement that Cavill will leave The Witcher after season 3 all the more shocking. Still, if you've seen recent interviews with the man, you'll be aware that there are some creative choices he's just not agreed with. And when you've grown up to learn and respect something like that, believe us, those matter. He clearly wanted to be a part of a faithful adaptation, one that caught everything he loved about Andrzej Sapkowski's novels and those classic games. But the creative team behind The Witcher has shown little respect for the source material, and the story felt like it was breaking away from the one Cavill loves. And if you search the recent backlash from season 2, you'll see he ain't the only one who felt like that. Up next, the clash between the writers and Henry Cavill. Still, Cavill had, at some point, announced his support for The Witcher's 7-season plans, but there was a catch. He'd insisted that he was only along for the ride so long as we can continue to tell great stories that honor Andrzej Sapkowski's work. The point had come up several times, including when Cavill was asked if his character Geralt of Rivia could collaborate with other Witchers more in future seasons. He'd said, "It all depends on how much the story allows." Again, if it isn't clear, he's a big fan of the books and wanted to stick with them. So it was all about making sure the story got told without too many fillers or side plots. Just look at season 2 and tell us whether the writers got what he was saying. P.S. They didn't. And you'd think that with such a passionate actor and fan of the material, they'd want to use that to their benefit. Are we insane for thinking that? Look, the season 2 finale departed significantly from Sapkowski's books, complete with the main villain, the Deathless Mother, who doesn't even exist in the novels. What's more, a rare behind-the-scenes look was recently shared by writer Beau DeMaio, who explained that he'd left The Witcher, in part because the attitudes of some of his fellow writers towards the game and novels. Some of them legit don't like the material, and this is a fan's worst nightmare. Following that, what does Henry's leave mean for The Witcher? Well, for one, The Witcher season 3 cast announcements have raised more issues about the show's loyalty to Sapkowski's novels and short stories. Despite the fact that the next season will be based more or less on Andrzej Sapkowski's book, Time of Contempt, casting for The Witcher season 3 sort of indicates that the adaptation will continue to move away from the books, because lessons are apparently hard to learn. Either way, Robbie Amell has joined the cast as an original character named Gallatin, who we get it is a well-known actor, but come on. Still, as per Netflix, he'll play Gallatin, an elven warrior who leads an army of guerrilla Scoia'tael fighting on behalf of Nilfgaard. Again, good for him, it's just gonna take a while for the taste of sour candy to leave our opinions about this series, especially because Gallatin's story so far is involved with Francesca's arc, which implies the show will continue to forge its own path with whatever material they find. So clearly, The Witcher's writing team, and definitely showrunner Lauren Schmidt-Hissrich, have no intention of strictly following the source material, which now, that also makes season 1 a teensy bit frustrating, as that was absolutely a work of art for the fandom. But as to what could have possibly been the true reason why there was such a sharp turn from what seemed to be their focus, we may never know. Let's talk about The Rock's rescue of Superman. When worlds collide, honestly. Dwayne Johnson is said to have pushed for Cavill's Black Adam cameo, outplaying then DC Films boss Walter Hamada. So it's possible that he encouraged Cavill to leave The Witcher by offering him a chance to return to the Superman franchise, and finally become the Superman he'd always wanted to be, the Superman we deserved. Even so, it's also worth noting that Cavill will be reuniting with Guy Ritchie for the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, a spy thriller set during World War II. This will give Cavill the chance to play Ian Fleming, the creator of James Bond, and Ritchie hopes the film will kick off a new franchise. Hey, this man has to be aligned with the iconic Bond universe in one way or another. It's almost written in Hollywood Hollywood's chaotic stars. All of this suggests that there are some very impressive opportunities presenting themselves to Henry Cavill, just as The Witcher was heading in a direction which he disagreed. Not to mention his soon-to-be-released sequel of Enola Holmes Netflix originals, which has already given him a spot as Sherlock Holmes. Come on, he clearly has some idea about where he wants to go. So, of course, the simplest solution for Cavill was to leave and for Liam Hemsworth to take over as Geralt in season 4, which is honestly not a twist we saw coming, but alright. And it's disappointing news for fans of Netflix's The Witcher, but understandable on Henry's part. Next up, Cavill's jump back into DC. Okay, here we get excited. Where could Superman appear in the DC universe? The most obvious guess would be Shazam, Fury of the Gods, because that just makes sense story-wise, and it wraps up the joke at the end of the first film with a nice bow. Also, future projects now seem to be building towards a Black Adam Superman showdown, with Shazam thrown in as a bonus. And trust us, no one's complaining. But now, it's too late for Cavill to appear in the film. Still, don't rule out another post-credit surprise. Next, we have The Flash, which, for reasons we honestly can't keep up with anymore, has been in development for a long time. And that can be to our advantage. Look, Supergirl is supposed to be introduced in this movie, so it won't be too far off if dear cousin just popped in to say hello. But we could also see him in an untitled Amanda Waller series that was announced in May of 2022, with Viola Davis reprising her role. This could be a fun project for DC because Superman seems to be working with Waller in some way during the post-credit scenes. So we'd just suggest keeping your eyes and ears open for any updates. Of course, then we have the inevitable Black Adam 2. Come on, with the success of the first film, this is only a matter of time. But it's still unclear what role he'll be playing, one with or without the red cape. Lastly, a possible super trilogy. Of course, that's if The Flash is a success and people enjoy Sasha Calle's portrayal of Kara Zor-El. A solo film may be in the works. And if a Supergirl film is made, it's almost guaranteed that Superman will appear. Supergirl could also make an appearance in Man of Steel 2, depending on when the film is completed. So, if fans enjoy Supergirl in The Flash and Cavill appears in a potential solo film, this could be one to keep an eye on. We know a lot of eggs are being put into this basket, but hey, at least it sounds like a fun exercise, no? Now, the next one. We admit it'll be a long shot, but another Justice League film is one of the most significant projects that could be in the works. Look, Cavill seems to be making Superman his top priority now and starring in some cameos, but also significant roles. And though no one even officially knows what the film could look like, it could also be a big step for James Gunn, showing he's willing to take a risk. Finally, we come to Man of Steel 2. A film is happening, but right now, we're just waiting for any updates. Still, if it comes out after the Rock sequel, that can mean the plots from both films eventually connect. Then the possibilities of lore from that would be endless. That's a wrap on this video. Let us know your thoughts on Cavill's departure from The Witcher. Was it completely justified, or did he just get better opportunities? Also, what possible future projects could we see the Red Cape in? Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. See you at the next one.